Hello there, gang, and welcome to Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. Now, as you know, I'm leaving the UK soon, and that means I have to take one last trip through Forbidden Planet. And guys, I'm taking you all with me, so let's not stand on ceremony. Let's do this. Alright gang, here we are. I thought I would keep myself in the little box in the corner so I can keep you company while we're taking this walkthrough. I don't know, sometimes I structure this channel for myself. I think, well, what do I want to see? I get bored when I'm watching tours sometimes. I need a face. I need a person. So that's what we're going to do here. So of course, this is the window display of Forbidden Planet. I'm not going to commentate through everything because you can see what it is. You don't need me to tell you that that's an amazing looking Green Goblin statue and Beta Ray Bill. Mwah! Chef's kiss, one of the best figures of the year. And now we got Select Apocalypse coming out pretty soon as well. I don't think I'm going to be here when he gets delivered, but eventually one day I'll open him up and hopefully he lives up to that same kind of lofty standard. But I like that in their window display. Also, sorry for the slightly flickering lights. That actually changes. Once we go inside, we don't get none of that flicker. But just initially, it's like, whoa, what's going on here? A bit of a strobe effect. Had people standing in my way. Can you believe that? They were standing in front of the window when I was trying to film. Do they not know who I am? Unbelievable. Some people. I should have just pushed them down into the street and been like, you can't stop model behavior. But, you know, I haven't got famous enough yet to become... I haven't got famous at all, but definitely not so much that I can start, you know, acting like the terrible celebrity type person. Give it time. I will do. We'll get there. We'll get there together. We can all act terrible. We'll redefine what model behavior means. Anyway, going back to the window display, I think that was a little Valentine's kind of thing that they had set up there, which kind of heartbreaking that it showed Spider-Man and Mary Jane for like Valentine's Day, and just this week in Marvel Comics they had Peter Parker be like, oh yeah, Mary Jane, she's kind of just like a sister to me now. Ah, Marvel, why do you hate Spider-Man? What I don't hate though is this Mezco alien. I gotta admit, I was tempted. I was real tempted because you know me, I love my Mezcos, and this guy, this big chap, looks like he's giggling away like, I can't believe they're going to spend all that money on me. Well, rightly so, because this is going for about $100. I get it. I get it. I can see why. I mean, there's Death Dealer there for $229. I mean, that's a lot of money, but I'm not that familiar with that sort of character or anything, so I wasn't so enticed. But then, Hot Toys, baby. Star Wars, Hot Toys. These are all just incredible. So beautiful. I love that kind of sandy colored Stormtrooper. Is he from Rogue One? Was he one of the guys on the beach? I don't recall, but I think he's got a great look. All the Mandalorians, they just look wicked. The stuff that's come out of the Mandalorian show, some of the Imperial designs, they're cool, they're nice. I wanted to get some more shots of the top shelf, but I didn't want to get in people's way. You know, it's so easy to make a spectacle of yourself, and I only like making a spectacle of myself in private, not out in public. The general public aren't ready for that. They don't deserve it. Oh, excuse me, sir. There we go. just elbowing folks in the ribs to get past. Again, I think these are still Hot Toys, going for the more DC kind of stuff. Wonder Woman in her Oscars costume. I haven't seen 1984. I've heard it's not great. Then they've got the Bat Pod. I always thought that was a strange... Is that what it's called? Yeah, Bat Pod. I'm like, who came up with that name? It's the Bat Bike. Come on. Then Faceless Joker. That of all the ways to update the Joker design, that's a pretty gnarly way of doing it. And Zombie Deadpool, because you gotta have pretty much one version of every kind of Deadpool in the world, don't you? Vision, all the MCU stuff, that looks great. Although the Monkey Man Spider Kid, Spider-Man Far From Home, I wasn't a big fan of, and I just wanted to see more of Spider-Man being Spider-Man, and we didn't get a lot of that, I don't think. But that Ghost Spider we just passed there, Spider-Gwen, gorgeous costume design, really great figure. And then all the Endgame stuff. The Endgame characters looking like bosses, and Captain America in that terrible Avengers costume. That was the only swing and a miss from that movie, was Captain America's costume. Like, I can't believe they looked at it and went, Yeah, that's fine. That's great, especially when we had the previous Captain America movie where his 1940s costume was so much better, looked so much more legit. Go figure. Complaining about a 12-year-old movie or whenever it was that Avengers came out. Motormaster. You know me, I love my evil duplicates and whatnot, and yeah, Motormaster isn't a duplicate of Prime, but he pretty much kind of sort of is. He certainly looks it, so I was always a fan of that character. And the Super 7 Transformers, I kind of dig them. They're more expensive than I would want to pay, but I love the fact that they don't transform. They're just fun-looking robot modes. And the Hiss Tank Megatron, that's kind of cute. And then, of course, boom, big old, the Tonka Toy version of Devastator. And some of the more high-end Transformers as well. Man, the prices on these, they rack up pretty fast. I was very tempted by that Lego Optimus Prime, but I never bit the bullet on it. And I don't really lament not getting him, but I enjoyed building my Home Alone house. That's good enough for me. I feel like I'm kind of done with Lego for now, but putting those together, that was wonderful. Then got all these Japanese anime type figures, got some Dragon Ball Z stuff up here. Again, always a little tempted by the Dragon Ball Z, but I haven't yet seen one that's made me go, okay, I'm gonna part with my money. But still, they look pretty enough. So that's good enough to at least take a little glance at. All the t-shirts and the merch. I'm not a big t-shirt guy. I'm pretty basic with my clothing. There's a reason you just see me in the same model behavior shirt or a plaid shirt all the time. I don't like to think too much about what I'm gonna wear. That's far too stressful. I gotta say, these McFarlane DC Batman figures, the likenesses of the old 60s show, they're terrific. And I love that they've done an old version of Two-Face to fit in with that line, even though he wasn't in the TV show. And I think that design, it's really cool. I think that's actually a really fun-looking Two-Face kind of setup. I love the green and the pink. I think that works really well. I'm actually just a big fan of that as a standalone figure. Bit of Power Rangers stuff. Once we go past the initial Power Rangers seasons, once we lose the core cast, I have no idea. Once you start getting into Lightning Force and all that stuff, I'm out. And the Bendy, Frankenstein, and Wolfman, NECA, they've got the Universal Monsters license or whatever it is, and they're making the most of it. God bless them. And good old Star Wars. I do love these retro packages. They are great. Although it's just like anything, the prices are a little steep. They're vertical. But I'm not a fan of that layer though. Didn't the Carrie Fisher likeness? Not so much. Billy D. Williams though. Billy D. Williams. They nailed. I'm not doing a good Billy D. Williams. Hey Chewbacca. Ever thought about growing a mustache? Yeah, that was Lando. It wasn't Lando. Alf. $45 for Alf. But there's a lot of nostalgia there. For me, growing up in the 80s, Alf, I was allowed to stay up on a Wednesday night until 8 p.m. as a kid so that I could watch Alf. Man, I can't believe it was it really 8 p.m.? That's no time at all. My parents were strict. My mum was. She raised me right. Now we got the, what are we saying, AC/DC, and I don't know who what's his name is. I'm not up on my music. not up on many things. I'm barely up on the topics that I'm supposed to be covering here. Slash. Dude, I was tempted. I was real tempted. In fact, I maybe regret not getting him, because this looks great. It looks really great. I walked out with a couple of figures, and I think that maybe Slash should have been one. I maybe should have swapped one for Slash. So I kind of lament that, because you can see how long I was holding him. I was very impressed with that. I really was. And with Casey Jones as well. I love what they've done. I love the animated style. I think it's so cool. But again, it's expensive, man. These prices are killer. But it does look like it's just lifted straight out of the 80s comic, and that's just so cool. It looks like just cell shaded animation, proper cell shading. Or is it not? Is it cell shading? That's probably not the right term to use, but like comic book art is what I'm saying. I'm not familiar with this character at all. She looks that looks almost like Frank Miller type pencils, and the Utrom as well, which is not Krang, I think. That's something that always confused me a bit. Like Krang, he's not one of these Utrom things, but they're very similar, or they are. I don't know. I know not of where I speak, and I get confused easily. You know this about me. So best to remain silent and be thought a fool. But nonetheless, they do look cool. Funko Pops, don't need none of those in my life. And a G.I. Joe statue. Yep, we got some NECA Alien Fire Team figures, but again, $50. Get out of here. Also, I always found with the NECA aliens, like they look cool with all the detail, but once they're on your shelf, you step back, it's just a bit of a black blob, you know? Now, this E.T. and Elliot is very cute. I like that. And also, I like the fact that if you bought it, you just got a 1/12 scale bike. It was slightly bigger than 1/12 scale, but that would be kind of a fun diorama prop to have, but it would be expensive for a diorama prop. The D&D Hasbro line. I gotta say, they look okay. They look okay, but that's just, renders and pictures and stuff. Can't see the figures, so how are we to know? How are we to even know that it's the right figure in there? We don't. In there lies the rub. Now then, Mr. Freeze, I was real tempted by when I first saw the pictures, because I love the concept, the look of Mr. Freeze. The dome helmet, it always just looks cool. But I found a similar problem with him that I do with a lot of McFarlane comic book figures, is that the paint just looks so flat. It needs dry brushing, it needs a wash, it needs something to make it feel more real and alive. Eradicator's kind of cool. I was very tempted for a second to get all of the Reign of the Supermen figures, but then I was like, no, Dave, you don't need them. And another Joker. Because you can never have too many Jokers. Am I right or am I right? I'm right. And that's kind of a fun, it's a very Willem Dafoe looking Joker, that one. I could get a sense of a bit of an Arkham Asylum, Willem Dafoe kind of look, but a bit cleaner around his face. Then we just got here, we can kind of skip through. We got Funko Pops, we got anime stuff. These people are looking at them. They don't know what they're shopping for. And you go straight past all of that. We got a freaky looking Junji Ito jumper, Gansey as they're called, and all of the model kits. I might get into the Gundam style model kits at some point, because they're fun, they're cool. I mean, those aren't model kits, those are pre-made, obviously, and they do look pretty wicked. But I've never watched Gundam. I've never watched much anime at all. You know what? I have a sneaking suspicion that Avatar merchandise might be clogging up the shelves for a while. I think if you want to buy any Banshees or play sets, they might be going cheap at some point. This, the loader, I forget what they call it, but the power loader style armor, amp suit, that's what it is. I saw on a D Amazing video, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't D Amazing, it was Articulated Ninja. He was showing how you can fudge G.I. Joe figures into those and kind of make it work, and that's wicked. That's so cool, because I mean, that's classic G.I. Joe. Well, not classic G.I. Joe, they didn't have amp suits from what I recall, but I mean, it still fits that aesthetic perfectly, so that's really, really cool to see those. And then, I thought it was an interesting choice by McFarlane to go for the different size scales in the lines, like the smaller ones for the vehicles, and then the bigger ones. And then we got Snake Eyes and Timber. Again, what's essentially one complete figure and the wolf for $44. It's a lot. Although I think it is the nicest Snake Eyes that they've done. I love having more color on Snake Eyes. That's cool. Recondo, pretty much Jesse Ventura. Blaine from Punisher. Not Punisher, what am I saying? Predator. Man, I've been garbling my words so much recently. And Stalker as well. The Stalker was a character that I wasn't that tempted by, because he looks too much like just a generic military man. And I need something a bit more fun, you know? And then some Beast Wars Transformers. I think a lot of people said, and I kind of agree, I sort of ruined myself by getting Megatron first. Once you got Transmetal Megatron, nothing else is really going to compare to that. So I think I started at the height of where these figures are, and that's sort of that's where I'll finish my Transformers collection. Only the best, baby. Only the best for us here at Model Behavior. And then this is fun just because I love the Insecticons from the movie, the '86 movie. Delicious, Scrap Me. A little heavy on the electrons, Electron. I couldn't do a very good previous impression. Lando Calrissian. Couldn't do a good Billy D. Williams, but I can do the Insecticons. I love how brutal the movie was when Hot Rod literally just crunches his head when he drives into Autobot City. Love it. And a plush Cthulhu. Isn't that adorable? I think that's really cute. If he turned up to destroy the world, I'd be like, go on then, you little rascal. You are too much. And a lot of Funko Pops. Funko Pops, man, they haunt my dreams. They do. Whole bunch of NECA. And NECA, it's a little difficult to sort of show them off because, of course, you've got to open the outer door. And I'm running out of hands doing this tour here. But they do all look terrific. But again, I'm going to stop saying it because you get tired of me repeating it. But the prices, the hand thing means the prices, yeah. But this Predator, I do like him. Why? Mixed media. Oh no, this is the Predator. Mixed media, a bit of fluff, a bit of fur. That makes it feel so much more alive and real. The paint job looks gorgeous, like the snakeskin type hide. He looks brilliant. He looks brilliant. I'll just say it one more time. It is very expensive, $50. But the overall package with the beautiful artwork on the front as well. NECA do an amazing job with their Predators. They really, really do. So, you know, I appreciate where your money's going to go. Again, you would pay, you know, for two average Marvel Legends that are maybe just repaints with different heads. And okay, it's a bit rich to complain about repaints when you talk about Predators, which are also largely repaints. But you know, maybe I'm making bad comparisons there. But then $70 reduced from $80. It's the Concrete Jungle, big giant hunker-chunker Predator. And honestly, he doesn't do anything for me. I'm like, nah, you're going to be a bit of an eyesore on the shelf, to be honest. I like classic Predator. However, I'm very excited about the Berserker Predator they're bringing out from the Prey movie. Might be tempted by that. Might be tempted. And now the Star Wars figures, like, I love some of these. The actual, the sculpting and the work that goes into them is really, really great. I just don't have that love for Star Wars so much anymore, which is a shame. But, you know, congratulations, Disney. You did it. However, got to admit, Andor, that was a good time. But $25 for a tiny Grogu with his little egg pod? Nah, I don't think so, pal. Not today. Not from this guy. I'm going to waste my money on other stupid stuff. But look at this. Death Trooper. Awesome figure. So wicked. But you want to try army building that for over $40? And don't tell me that's a deluxe figure. Get out of here. That's crazy. They're like, oh, whoa, it's got two little blast effects, so it's definitely a deluxe figure. Got to charge over $40 for that. No, not today, pal. You're having a laugh, mate. You're having a giraffe. You're having a bubble bath, mate. There we have the worst Boba Fett. I'm sorry, it's just, they massacred my boy. Dude, they massacred my boy. What happened, man? What happened? He should have stayed in the Sarlacc pit. You will find it is you who are mistaken about a great many things. Can do a good Palpatine as well. Now, anything Mandalorian is always going to look cool. And look, $24.99, yes, it's expensive, but it's more in that reasonable kind of stage. You can't tell me that two blast effects would add an extra $20 to the price. The Saul Guevara, is that his name? That figure looks great. I love the actual plastic breathing tube they have on there. That's a real nice little touch. I think that makes a big difference. I dig it. I dig it the most. Then Elton John Rocketman. Is it Rocketman? Either way, it's Elton John from NECA. An unusual little piece, but great that he comes with the piano and everything. The Oogie Boogie statue. I got a lot of time for that. I'm a fan of Nightmare Before Christmas. That's one of my favorite Christmas movies. Or Halloween movies, whatever you want it to be. But I love the Oogie Boogie sack design. It's just cool. Grogu looking adorable on his little chair there. And the speeder bike guy. He's cool. I wish I had the money and the space. You know, that's always the thing. Money and space. Some of those larger Star Wars figures, I don't quite get, though. I don't really sort of see so much appeal myself. And busts as well. I was never a big bust guy. I got a couple of busts. Got the Spider-Man there, and I had the Ultimate Green Goblin too. So I do get it. After saying I don't get it, nah, I do get it. But it's not, you know, there are other things I'd want to spend my money on. That's what I'm trying to say. And the Super 7 Turtles figures. This is as retro as you get. It's like they just put one of those Ant-Man embiggening discs onto one of the old retro figures and it just went whoop. And like they're the most sort of retro, nostalgic, kitsch, campy kind of figures. But they're so big as well. If you want to have an inbox collection, it's gonna take up a lot of space, man. It's gonna take up a lot of space. Batman Who Laughs. DC struck gold with that one. I think once they got that design and were like, what if Batman was the Joker? Yes, we're gonna make a lot of merchandise. Excuse me, got a little hiccup there. We're gonna make a lot of merchandise, baby. SH Figure Arts, always tempted, but not bitten the bullet yet. Maybe the Venom and Carnage from Let There Be Carnage, like those are very tempting, especially the Carnage, but I think he might just be a bit too big. Speaking of big, this Power Rangers Zord looking thing, I bet that looks amazing, but I don't know, I can't see it, but the concept looks very cool. And the smaller robots as well, like I love the look of that guy. That's just wicked. That's a badass looking action figure right there. So yeah, Gundam model kits, again, something that I might dip my toe into just to play around with. And where am I going to go now? I'm going to go around the corner. Come, let's sneak around. More Funkos. The Funkos, man. We're losing the battle. We're losing the battle for shelf space against Funkos. Now we got the next section is another fun one. Until we get away, Dave, why are you filming these? I know it's Disney. Disney's fun, but I don't care about Funkos. I'm boring myself with my camera, with my filming. McFarlane Dragons, though, that's not boring. Finally, Todd McFarlane wins the battle against articulation. He's like, didn't want to do it, didn't want to have it, but people have been forcing me. No, I'm going to make these dragons, and I'm not going to give them any articulation. These are statues, baby. They're not even posable statues. They're just plain statues. Now this is what caught my eye. The Dungeons and Dragons NECA figures. Oh my god. I had seen the pictures online, obviously, but then seeing them in hand, seeing how big and chunky and beefy and hefty these figures were, I was a little smitten. I got to admit, I was a little bit smitten when I saw these guys, because I was like, oh wow, they really have just made like a new toy, essentially. Sorry, my thumb is going over the camera here. Don't worry, I do realize that. There we go. Well done, Dave. There you go. You figured it out. Now, Warduke in particular. Look at this guy. Look at that. It's the metallic blue. The metallic blue paint job just makes him just spring to life. I love how bonkers and silly it is. That guy, he caught my heart. He did. He captured me right there. I was like, okay, Warduke, I see you. So did I pick those up? Maybe. I think I might have. And already I've sold Warduke, but I just wanted to get him for the review. It was worth it. I had so much fun playing around with him, but what am I going to do? Put him in storage for the next 3 years or whatever? That's not really practical. I found a good home for him. Love the Chaos Space Marine. I bought that for my buddy Benji for Christmas, and that went to a good home. And now these more chunky Spawn figures, and again, $24.99 for all of this. That's, whether you like McFarlane's style or not, you got to give props. Like, look at that with the huge bat wings, all completely original sculpting. Looks grim and gnarly, and you got those ugly ball pin hips. But again, I'm not talking about the style. I'm talking about the bang for the buck, and you get a reasonable amount of bang for your buck. I love the glowing fiery embers in the mouth there. All the spikes coming off. Looks a bit like Toxin. You can maybe do, or Absolute Carnage. Either one of those two previous figures, you can make a badass Absolute Carnage with. And some more retro superpowers, Batman style figures there. I do love the kitsch campy old school Mr. Freeze with the big bushy eyebrows. It looks kind of funny. Randomly, they don't tend to have much Mafex stuff in stock, but we have the random Hush Batman scuba one there, but that's all we had from Mafex. Then there's some just general kind of merch, and if I turn to the left, hey, there we go. I knew what I was going to do. We got more of the McFarlane DC figures, and again, so many of them. Heatwave, Gorilla Grodd. I think great designs, great sculpting, but just the paint lets them down. The paint lets him down. And Batman looks kind of gross and gnarly in that version. I think he looks, yeah, that's not a good rendition of Batman, I don't think, in my personal opinion. And it's my channel, so I get to have my personal opinion. Now these, I think, are unsung little gems. The Disney Mirrorverse, made by McFarlane. They don't really get much press, I don't think. But you look at this queen here, this Wicked Queen. That's a great looking figure. Again, just over $20. And look at everything that's coming with that. And that's a Disney license right there. And yeah, isn't that cute? $15 for the Mirrorverse anger emotion character. I think that's really super fun. I love what they've done with that. And Baymax as well. I'm not really sure what the Mirrorverse is. This an online game? I'm guessing it's an online game. I don't know what the kids are playing. Is it a card game? I think it's something or other. Help me out in the comments. Where do these cool designs actually appear? Because yeah, I think they're great. They got like a Captain Hook as well and all sorts. I was very impressed. Very, very impressed. Five Nights at Freddy's. That always seemed like a fun franchise that I never played, but I kept seeing merch from it. Mortal Kombat characters. McFarlane have got some good licenses, haven't they? And Cabal is always a favorite of mine, just because he's a character that can be interpreted so many different ways and different versions. I'd love to see Storm handle Cabal. I'm sure they'll probably get around to him at some point. Spider-Cat is very cute. I like that t-shirt. That's an adorable t-shirt. All right, we're coming around to some more DC stuff here. But again, I remember the Dark Knight Metal versions of these costumes that I was commenting on a live stream once, and I think I got a bit giddy making fun of them, and some DC fans didn't like that. They were like, you don't know what you're talking about with these costumes. And to be honest, I was like, you're right, I don't know what I'm talking about, but the costumes were pretty out there. Pretty out there, that's for sure. But I do appreciate a lot of them were sort of doing that weird heavy metal band type aesthetic, so I appreciate it fit the storyline. But it's fun to make fun of your buddies sometimes, and I don't have any buddies here, so we make fun of action figures with our buddies online. Right, Marvel, finally, and Thanos, a select Thanos out of nowhere. Forbidden Planet seem to do this all the time. They'll randomly find a batch of old select figures, like in a warehouse somewhere, and be like, oh yeah, I've been sitting on these for years now. So what is so appealing about this Thanos is the death that comes with him. And it is pretty much just, the death is a statue. I don't think there's any articulation there at all. I don't think. I've never got it out of the package. But $30 for the big chonky Thanos with death as well, that's kind of fun. But then again, we've got the Marvel Legends Deluxe Thanos, and you ain't going to get a better Thanos for that kind of price unless you go Mezco, because Mezco Thanos, that's the bomb. And then we've got our beloved Marvel Legends, always going to be our favorites, but again, you know, the prices and whatnot, make of it what you will. But not a very exciting set of stock here. It's all stuff that's come out over the last year or so, which is why I tend to drift over to Marvel Legends at the end of the tour, because I'm like, this ain't nothing you haven't seen before already. But that's nice to see them all displayed there. Enjoy those window boxes while we can do. And then we got the famous Forbidden Planet reduced section, where any kind of battle damaged items have some money knocked off. But you know what? They don't knock much money off. They really don't. They're like, this thing has a broken piece. Oh, well, we'll take $2 off. It's like, really? Really, guys? I guess it's to stop the staff from accidentally smashing something and going, well, I'll take this half price then. Yeah, we're on to you guys. But yeah, sometimes it's fun to have a little rummage. You might find a bargain every now and then, but honestly, I mean, what's this dude going for? Yeah, $15. Like, nah, you're all right, mate. I think I'd be happier with the $15. But still, it's a fun little sort of smorgasbord of, yeah, that was me testing my spider reflexes, because I caught the figure as it fell off the shelf. I don't have spider powers, it turns out. And that, guys, is the end of the tour. I think I'm about to switch the camera off. Like, I just get to some t-shirts here, and I think to myself, yeah, we're done. Take one last look. There you go. And guys, that does it for my final tour of Forbidden Planet. I hope you enjoyed it, and oh my goodness, we have got some crazy stores in Japan that I'm going to be taking you around. Cannot wait for that. So gang, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Cup of coffee. Big time coffee.